Hi guys, hope everyone's well and welcome back to the Improvement Podcast. So today I want to touch on reversing out of a dieting phase, and the reason being is it's massively important, which I'll get into. First of all, quick update on myself. So I'm currently recording this at 1 week out, but it will be going live the day before I step on stage, the day before my second last show of the season. Reason I'm recording this a bit earlier is just due to, of course, travelling down there, that sort of thing. I'm usually a bit busier during the week, so I thought I'd just get it out of the way to ensure I've got an episode out for you guys. So hope you appreciate it. And something I always say at the end, but if you're watching this, listen to this, please like, share, subscribe. It all is greatly appreciated. But yeah, the plan is basically on Tuesday to start eating up into the show. Eating more carbohydrates, which we store in our muscles, which can make them look bigger and fuller, make you look more vascular, and when you're in that position, you also look leaner. So that's the plan. And the analogy I've gave before, it's like a balloon. If you've got a balloon and it's deflated, it's all shriveled looking, it doesn't look big or full, and it doesn't have a lot of size to it. Whereas if a balloon's full with air, it's like bursting full, then it's got more. It just looks better, looks bigger. You can see more of it. And that's what your muscles are like, basically, when they're filled with carbohydrates. So yeah, plan is to start eating up into the show and doing that on Tuesday onwards. And I think that's me finished dieting from basically throughout prep. Because AJ said, my coach, once we get the first show out of the way, what's going to benefit me most is just spending time eating more. That's going to make me drop fatigue, improve my look after dieting pretty aggressively the last 3 weeks. Losing like £2 a week, which is a decent amount for how lean I am. Not saying that in a smug manner, but when you're leaner, you feel the effects of weight loss more. Whereas if, let's say, you've got a high level of body fat, £2 isn't really much to the same extent, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the plan. And the show is in London, so quite a trek this time around. I'm staying in a hotel instead, just because I couldn't be bothered forking out tons of money for an Airbnb, especially because, like, at London, as you can probably expect, just like anything else at London, it's not cheap at all. So yeah, that's the plan, but it's weird thinking I'm finishing my diet on Tuesday, and if anything, like, as much as obviously I want to eat more, I'm starving all the time, my energy's low, I'm kind of like not looking forward to it, because I'm not sure. You get used to it and you like the feeling of digging and losing weight, and I think I'll find once I'm just maintaining, it's going to be hard because my hunger will still be there, but I'll not be losing weight, so I'm kind of just staying in the same spot. Not that I won't be improving, I'll probably be looking visually better, but just getting my head around that and knowing I've got to just not purposely diet or dig for 3 weeks and just be hungry is going to be pretty difficult, but we'll get there. And yeah, so plan is 2 more days of digging, and just done my cardio this morning, that sort of thing. So enough on me, jumping into the episode. Like I said, if you're reversing out of a diet, just as important as the actual dieting phase itself. And the reason being is, let's say you do want to lose weight. You carry out a dieting phase, you lose, let's say, 2 stone. And then you reward yourself after the diet and you relax a bit, you've gained a stone back. What's the point of dieting for that period where you lost the 2nd stone when you could have just done or lost 1 stone and maintained that? You kind of wasted your time dieting for that 2nd stone to come off, if that makes sense. Just an example, but I think you get the drift. So here I'll tell you what to do to maintain your weight loss long term. Reversing out the diet just means exiting a dieting phase, in other words. And yeah, because some people make progress or reach their goal, but they gain the weight back. I think everyone knows individuals, or it might be yourself at some point, who has like lost a decent amount of weight, but like they just always end up in the same position. So reversing out of a diet, like I said, is coming out of a dieting phase. It is when you gradually increase your food with the goal of maintaining your weight or gaining very slightly. And in terms of how is this possible? How can I eat more and still maintain my weight? So, your body's an adaptation machine. Your body adapts to whatever you do. It wants to set at homeostasis, which is basically maintenance. It doesn't want to gain weight, it doesn't usually want to lose weight, which is why people struggle to bulk or diet, whereas it's easy to maintain weight. Or you'd hope so anyway. And in terms of just as it adapts when you're dieting, so just as you might, let's say, you might start a diet, you might just cut out a bit of crap from from snacking, and then you might lose weight pretty effectively. But there might become a point where that doesn't cut it. You need to do more to lose weight. That's just not being effective enough at causing weight loss. So it might mean you need to make more changes, eat less food, move more, or just do something else that makes you lose weight. And the reason being is your body's adapted to it. So let's say you make one food drop during a dieting phase. That might not last you the whole dieting phase. If it does, absolutely magic. You don't need to change anything. Most of the time though, it doesn't. Your body adapts because if you think about it logically, your body doesn't want to lose weight. When your body's losing weight, it's slowly starving basically. So your body preserves energy through not burning as much calories throughout the day when you're resting and through exercise to preserve energy. And that means since you're not burning as much energy, or in other words calories, you're then at maintenance, which means you need to decrease your food further. And luckily, the opposite applies. When you're bulking, when you consume more calories and have more energy coming in, you usually burn more calories. And that's why after a diet, let's say you finish your diet on 2,000 calories, some people can then work their calories up and eat, let's say, 2,500 calories eventually, or maybe 3,000, and still maintain their weight, or gain very little, because your body's adapting, because your body doesn't really want to get excessively fat. When you're taking in the more calories, because of the more energy, you're burning more calories throughout the day. And that's the beauty of basically your body. And as a result of this, what this tells us is if we take the right steps, you can never predict exactly how much calories you can increase after a diet or adapt to, that sort of thing. It will depend on a lot of factors, but basically it tells us we can work our calories up to a sustainable level. And this is basically the thing that stops people from maintaining their progress. They finish their diet and they think the work's done. Whereas if you want to maintain your progress, the time after dieting phase is just as important when you're working your calories up to a sustainable level. So yeah, when you finish a diet, yes, obviously you want to relax a bit more, you can, but still try and be structured and regimented and spend time just being consistent during this phase, because if you can spend time being consistent, work your calorie maintenance up, then you can have a high calorie maintenance and then you can enjoy food much easier and just enjoy life. When I was in my gaining phase, due to your body adapting and basically adapting to what it's doing, I was consuming 4,300 calories every day I trained, which is a decent amount, and that's a comfortable amount to have, let's say, a Chinese plus another 2,000 calories of clean food on top of that, and things like that, which sounds absolutely unreal to now. 1 week out, hunger's through the roof. I'm looking forward to a Chinese or that after my diet, I'm not going to lie. And just not feeling dead, to be honest. But yeah, back on the topic, in terms of how to do so, how to work your calories up, basically what it requires is just as much consistency as the diet. You can't just finish your diet and go back to your normal calories or habits or stop training and think, oh, I've lost the weight, it's done. It's not done if you want to maintain it and keep your current body composition or improve upon it. And it can take a bit of time, discipline and patience when doing so. And you might still be hungry after a diet. Just because you finish your diet doesn't mean your hunger's gone. It might take time just dealing with the hunger the best you can, with having tons of fruit and veg still, and you just keeping those habits you had while you were dieting for a bit. So basically, in terms of how you want to reverse out of a diet and gradually eat more while maintaining your weight, is when you finish your diet, you'll probably have quite high steps or quite high expenditure. Let's say you might have cardio or steps, and then you also might have quite low food. Once the diet's finished, you basically want to increase your food or decrease your activity. For example, let's say you finish your diet and you're on 2,000 calories and you're doing 12,000 steps a day. Then you could increase your calories to 2,100. You then do that for a week. What you'll probably find, again, you can't always predict what the body will do. If you have, let's say, meals out, that's going to influence things. But if, let's say, you're eating 2,000 calories, you're doing 12,000 steps, you increase your calories by 100. If you're still training hard, training consistently, progressing in the gym, and let's say you do 4 sessions a week or 5, you're still hitting those sessions to the same consistency, then what you'll find is your body probably won't gain much weight from that extra 100 calories. From then, the week after, assess what your weight does. If your weight's not went up, then either take away some steps. It could be, let's say, 2,000, or add more calories. That could be another 100 calories. And basically repeat this process. And what you'll find is if you train consistently and train hard, you're still sleeping relatively decent, you're still consistent with your goals, and you gradually just add 100 calories or take away 1,000, 2,000 steps, and you repeat this process, you'll be able to work your calories up to a decent level. At least a couple hundred at the very least, I think. And do this for each week, see what happens, and repeat. Bear in mind your body weight fluctuates, so take that into consideration. But basically, if you don't gain weight, add 100 calories, repeat, or 50 calories if you're wanting to be super cautious, but you can get away with 100. And then repeat that process until you start gaining weight, and then if you start gaining weight, give it a week, see what it does, and then if you're wanting to bulk, keep those calories, or if you're wanting to maintain your weight, you might have to take a bit away for now, if you're wanting to maintain that level of leanness. But even if you do put on a bit of weight, you might find that if you do, that will then turn into your maintenance calories, meaning you might gain weight for it, like for, let's say, 2 weeks on whatever calories you're on, and then you might sit at maintenance again because your body's adapted. And committing to a gaining phase is something very valuable, just so that you can work your calories up and have a decent level of muscle, but that's an episode for another time. So yeah, you basically want to do this for a week, see what your weight does, and repeat. And when it comes to your training, you can't just sack it off as soon as the diet finished, because you need to give your body a reason to have the extra food, and if you don't, then your body won't have any reason to increase its maintenance. Basically, you want to give your body a reason to have the extra calories, and you want to ideally make weight training a thing you maintain long term. Does this mean training 5 times a week for 2.5 hours a session? No. If you want to, go for it. But it could just be weight training 3 times a week, doing, let's say, the squat, bench and deadlift, and working on your strength and your performance on those movements, or something similar to that, if that makes sense. But basically, what you can't do is just think, oh, my diet's over, I'm happy with how lean I am, and then just stop, because those sessions burn calories. Those sessions contribute towards muscle growth and maintenance. So if you stop that, then you'll stop maintaining and growing muscle. You'll stop burning as much calories. So yeah, make weight training a long-term thing you maintain, because having muscle requires more calories to have on you. It is energy demanding having muscle, which means to just hold on to muscle tissue, your body needs to burn calories, because it requires calories to just stay on your frame, if that makes sense. Whereas body fat, it doesn't require calories to maintain it, if that makes sense. So yeah, basically train hard, sleep well, progress as much as you possibly can, while gradually adding food back in or decreasing steps, whatever you prefer. And then you should build muscle, start looking better, start being able to work your calories up doing so. And again, the body's not 100% predictable. So if, let's say, you're eating, let's say, as far away from your session as you should be doing, you're drinking every weekend, you're sleeping poor, you're not trying in the gym, then this isn't going to work the same as if you've done all those things well, because it requires just as much consistency, like I said, sadly. But basically, you'll only be able to work your calories up to some extent, and then you'll start gaining weight. You'll start, in other words, bulking or gradually gaining weight. So you can only do this to a certain extent, but you'll probably, if you're doing this, be able to work your calories up a decent amount, so they're at least higher than they were before, like, your dieting phase finished. So I hope this episode helped. It's something very, very valuable. So if you are looking to diet or finish a dieting phase recently, or is just about to, make sure you implement this and be nice and consistent. And it might mean being disciplined when you're hungry and just dealing with that hunger for a bit, but it will pay off, because if you can, let's say you reverse out your diet for a month, if you can keep weight training 3 times a week, you can then maybe move away from tracking and just eat intuitively, meaning to fullness, and maybe maintain your body composition while just doing 3 sessions. But it does require patience and still putting in some work, because basically maintaining your body composition and reaching your goals does require work, sadly. So hope this episode helped though. Please subscribe, share on your story if you enjoyed it, and tag me and the podcast if you did. Let me know if you want to see any future episodes, and drop me a message if you have any questions, have anything to say regarding the podcast or that sort of thing. I appreciate everyone's time as always, and hope everyone has a great day.